This is my favorite app. I'm going to go through in a lot of apps and new fintech companies that you can use. I love Mint.com. They've been around the longest. So let me dig into what Mint.com does. But by the way, out of curiosity, how many of you use Mint.com right now? So we got, so really like 2/3 of the room is using Mint.com. That's really impressive.
I used it.
You used it and then you stopped?
Yeah.
So Quicken used to be what people used a lot. I think Quicken actually went and bought Mint. People would use Quicken, but then they would stop using it because you had to do it all manually. Yeah. So what Mint.com does, if you use it correctly, there are lots of ways you can use Mint.com. You can just put one credit card in there and you can see where the money is going on your credit card. I think if you're going to use Mint.com effectively, you put everything in there. So like I got every credit card, checking accounts, brokerage accounts. I have everything inside Mint.com, and I have everything that Mint.com won't even link. So if I've got an investment property, I put the investment property. I've got the mortgages, the loans, the 529 plans. And what it does is it gives me a dashboard, not just of my expenses, but it gives me a dashboard on my net worth. So for couples, the key is, what I see in most relationships with couples is that one person's using Mint, but they're not both using it. So if you can get yourself both to use it, then you really have a family dashboard. Now, certain things I like about Mint, aside from all those great features, Mint gives you a free credit score. I like the fact that Mint notifies me of things through almost every day. Like, aside from the fact that they'll catch, like, they're the first one to tell me money's been deposited. They're usually the first one to show me that money's gone out. They're the first one to show me if my credit card, what my annual fee is. Like, because again, the credit card company's not sending me a notice like, hey, $95 fee this year. I just find that having that dashboard makes my life cleaner, simpler, and I know where I stand financially. So I think if you're not using Mint.com at home, go use Mint.com. I'm going to give you other tools too, but Mint.com is my favorite. Credit score, again, that's free on Mint. Who else is doing this? So one of the originators of doing what Mint.com does is Yodlee. So if you want to look at another option, YodleeMoneyCenter.com. Lots of financial service firms use Yodlee on the backside of the technology of scraping all your data. So I wanted you to have two options. I think when you compare the two, you'll probably go back to Mint. One thing I'll say about all these, any of these apps that basically pull your data, because the question is, first of all, is it secure? They're using the same security that the banks use. Is it secure? We hope it's secure. Right? Like anybody who gets up today and tells you anything's secure, I don't know. I could go on and on about that, right? We don't know. We hope it is. You gotta be very careful with your passwords. But the links break all the time, right? So if you use Mint, you know this happens, right? Like people come up to me and they'll see that I talk about like a Mint or somebody else I'm gonna talk about here, and they'll say, well, that sucks because it's constantly telling me that the things aren't linked. That's not typically actually the company's fault. It's the back-end technology, and it's how it's syncing up with your bank. And a lot of times the banks are changing the back end, or the credit card companies are changing the back end. So it just is what it is. I find that almost every month I've got to relink something. Have you guys had that same experience?
How do you fix it?
You have to go back in, and when it tells you that it's not working, you have to click it into it. Then it takes you back to your bank, and you have to put back in all your information.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes it still won't fix, and you have to go back to your bank or your brokerage firm and say, what's going on? Why isn't this syncing? Sometimes they have a workaround. Usually it just has to do with something that they just did on the back end that's a patch or something. And I find a lot of times if I actually take the app and I delete the app and I reset the app in the phone and I relaunch everything and then I put in the passwords, then it works again. None of this stuff is perfect. It just isn't, but it's better than nothing. Level Money is another new app. Anybody here using Level Money? No? Okay, cool. So we got some new stuff here. Level Money's, they're basically going through your expenses with you. They start to look at where your money's going, and they have this thing called spendable money. And so in a way, it's kind of latte factor based. They look through your expenses, they see where you're spending money on a regular basis, they look at how much income you've got coming in, and then they start to tell you, almost like a budgeting system, this is how much you can spend on this is how much you can spend on this. And they really have made a very nice interface. And the goal with this company is to help you spend smarter and know where your money's going and know how much you've got each month for those different categories. So it's not like, okay, you have to give up your latte factor. It's like, hey, guess what? You spend $100 a month on lattes. Now, let's make sure you have enough money in your bank account to spend $100 a month on lattes. And they start telling you, well, you're almost at your full latte for the year, for the month. No more lattes for you, kind of thing. Kind of cool. Next one, I want to give you some simple calculators. So whenever I need to run calculations, I go to 2 websites. And calculations can be retirement plan calculations, credit card calculations. Like, let's say you've got credit cards and you want to know how to pay those credit cards off faster. I go to bankrate.com. I go to the calculator section. They have some of the best calculators that are out there, period. I use their biweekly mortgage. I'm going to go through biweekly mortgages later. I use the biweekly mortgage payment calculator on Bankrate. You can run your number in minutes. You can run your debt reduction in minutes. You can run your basic savings calculator. This is a basic savings calculator. This is basically the latte factor calculator. Put in the dollar amount. What do you want to save a month? Pick your annual interest. Run it out how many years. Click calculate. There's your compound interest calculator. Here's another amazing website with calculators, dinkytown.net. So dinkytown.net is really one of the original, if not the original, financial calculator website. There was just an article about the founder, I think it was on CNBC. There's 450 financial calculators on this website. You don't need 450, by the way, but when you go to the website, and it's interesting, the most popular calculator is the mortgage calculator. You can see they've got investment calculators, retirement, mortgage, loans, auto calculators, credit card calculators. I don't actually know that there's anything that you need to calculate financially that's not sitting on this website. Most of the calculators that all the financial service companies use, they licensed it from dinkytown.net. So you don't need to run it on a calculator, you need to do any math yourself. Just go here and check it out. All right, now I'm going to show you some cool new technology companies that are making saving small amounts of money easy. Yeah.
I love it.
So I can't believe you because you didn't know this was coming. No, Acorns.
I just use it.
Okay, so Acorns, she's like, I love Acorns. So Acorns is the first company I'm going to talk about. I love them too. When I saw Acorns came out, what Acorns does, let me explain what they do before I tell you why I love it so much.
I liked it because I don't have to think about it. And it rounds up, so I'll spend $1.22 and it takes the difference up to $1 or whatever you tell it, and it puts it into you can make it aggressive or non-aggressive. At first I was like very conservative because I was chicken, but it was extra money. It was cool. It was like all of a sudden I had money that I didn't know I had.
All of a sudden,
yeah.
Because what Acorns
Automatic.
does is they basically find your latte factor,
Yeah.
and then they help you save small amounts of money.
Yeah. They round
it up.
Yeah.
It's actually started with Bank of America Keep the Change. I launched the Bank of America Keep the Change card. And Bank of America had this Keep the Change card where it would round up your change and it would go into a savings account. What Acorns has done is first of all, the number one criticism I used to get around the latte factor was, well, great, so now I'm not spending $5 a day. How do I invest $5 a day? And you couldn't. Technology was not around to invest $5 a day. You can now invest $1 a day. You can go to a company like Acorns and basically get an account set up with $5, and you can literally invest your change. And what Acorns does is once you hook up your credit card or you hook up your bank account, it looks at where you spend money. So the example you just gave, let's say you spend $1.50, you can say, the extra 50 cents I didn't spend, calculate that throughout the month, and move it into a savings account. Now, it's not a savings account, it's an investment account. So they have taken and they've built, I would call it's really a robo-advisor. How many of you are familiar with the term robo-advisor? See, only 2 of you, 3 of you. Robo-advising is the big thing that's changing the entire financial service industry. They have come up with an automated way, automatic, so you automatically invest your spare change into an automated portfolio of mutual funds, which are exchange-traded mutual funds, super low cost. You pick the portfolio, you go click, click, click on your phone. It builds the portfolio with ETFs, so it's totally diversified. It's ridiculously low cost, like nothing, basically like $1 a month, plus the small management fees that are in here. You can add to it in increments of whatever you want. You can pull from it. It shows you how it's growing. It shows you your performance, and it shows you how much money you have. All on your phone, all the time, running in the background, automatically. I was so blown away first of all, it's one thing when I hear about these technologies, but then I go and I usually demo them myself. I wanted to really go through the app and figure out how long will it take me to open this account. I opened the account. How long did it take you?
Like that. It was probably 20 minutes,
Okay.
30 minutes, yeah.
So I asked her how long it took her to open the account. It took you?
30 minutes.
Oh, you said 30 minutes.
Yeah.
They're going to die when they hear this. But that's good still, right?
Right, it was because I wasn't sure what it was.
Yeah, okay. That's fair too, because you actually had to go through the process of picking the account.
Yeah.
Once you get to the interface where you open the account, it's a 10-minute or less process.
Yeah.
And, again, I'll go back to being a financial advisor. When you would come into my office, the amount of paperwork that we still to this day had to have you fill out just to do a systematic investment account would take 6 pages. Now you go to the phone, you go click, 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 and it's all set up. I was so impressed that when I saw this technology and I tried it out, I got on a plane, flew to Irvine where they're based, met with the founder, Walter, met with Noah Kerner, the CEO, actually invested in the seed round along with PayPal. So I've invested in this company as a private investor. They have 1.4 million accounts already. Now, the cool thing about you being here and talking about it is that they're getting a lot of younger accounts. And so the fact that they're now, because this is going to help baby boomers too, but this is really like millennials, like making you realize if you've got small amounts of money, you can start an investment account super simply.
Well, that's the thing that kind of helped me was because you went through this latte factor, where you had me breaking it down. And I'm like, how am I going to do this? And I remembered I had this account. I can put that, because I kept going, well, I'm not going to do this because I don't have any way to do it.
How did you find out about Acorns, out of curiosity?
Somebody, it was a year or so ago, somebody had sent it to me, and it was brand new.
Brand new.
So I was still I wasn't using it too much, but with the latte factor, I was like that $5 a day. I wouldn't do anything. I'd say, well, I can use it on shoes or whatever else. I'm not going to save it.
Yeah.
But I have to get back into it and really put that stuff in there. It's great.
It's awesome.
I haven't been using it as much as I should.
So that's why I updated this book, because I wanted to put all these new companies in here that didn't exist. Acorns is in here. So Acorns, in full disclosure, yeah.
Yeah, just a question about this. How do you think about this money compared to the blueprint? Like, is this money that you're just like saving forever? Like it could be part of your retirement plan, or what do you?
So most of you, your retirement account's going to come at work, unless you're doing an IRA account, which is then you could do anywhere, or a SEP IRA. But most of you are going to use a 401k plan if you've got a job. This I would consider to be your dream account. Okay. With the emergency account, it's not really an emergency account, because I don't want your emergency account in the stock market. So these portfolios are stock market based. They have bonds and they have stocks in it. This is really dream account money. Emergency account money should be an online savings account. Now, these guys will probably pretty soon have an online savings account because everybody's going to start having all these buckets. But I look at this as dream account money. Because you're investing in the stock market, it's money that's going to have more risk. So you've got to be realizing, like, you're putting this away for savings. This could be savings for a house. This could be savings for a car. This could be savings for college. It could be emergency money, provided you just know there's some risk involved in it. So they're not the only ones doing this. We got to be full and fair to give the other company here that's quickly coming on the landscaping, and that's going to be called Stash Invest. Very similar. So everything I talked about with Acorns, Stash is doing something similar. They're building different kind of portfolios, but it's really the same idea. And I love all these new fintech companies because what these companies are doing for you here in the room, you at home, is it is democratizing investing. Investing has always been candidly for rich people. Even though my grandma box started on her own, it wasn't easy to start with small amounts of money. And the big banks and brokerage firms have not wanted these smaller accounts. Today, that's going to change, by the way, but today online with these apps, these new technology companies, there's no barrier to entry. If you can start with $1 a day, you can start. And small wins can change everything.
To hear about this nano investing or micro investing, whatever you want to call it. We started investing years and years ago in dividend reinvestment plans where you had to have a minimum of 1 share, as well as Share Builder many years ago.
I used to talk about Share Builder all the time.
And that we learned it from you. And we had been telling everyone you can invest for very little amount of money if you can afford a full share. You want Berkshire Hathaway, share A, maybe not.
But share B?
But yeah, share B, $10 a month, buy a partial share. So we've been telling you about it. And my husband and I actually many years ago were banking with a very well-known bank, which I will not name, but has a stagecoach. And we started rounding up our checks. And instead of $1.59, we'd say we put $2 in. And when we closed the account, when we were preparing to move away, we had a nice little nest egg that we were able to use for the dream account. We were able to take a vacation and very little effort. So I'm really excited. My son is 12 and is now starting to, his iPhone is filled with apps, and he's now starting to discover what investing is. We just took a trip to Disney World and he had his own portfolio. And it's exciting to hear that the younger generations, we now can teach them about micro investing. And okay, so you have $10, invest too. What can you do with it? And so I'm really excited to hear about this because I think so many people use that excuse of, I don't have $10 a month to invest in a stock. And now this is giving them an easy way to do it. It's so exciting.
That's so cool. How long ago did you read my book?
Well, the first one, Smart Couples Finish Rich, we read probably right as soon as it came out.
So probably 15
yeah,
years
and then
ago.
The Automatic Millionaire, we read the original version right after, and then we read Debt Free for Life. So we've read numerous books, and we've employed a lot of these strategies.
Where did you fly here from?
I live in Spearfish, South Dakota.
South Dakota. And meanwhile, you could basically teach this class. She's talking about A shares and B shares and Berkshire Hathaway. And, it's funny. So Share Builder is another one of these companies where I was so excited by the company. I got on a plane and went out to go meet with, I think they were in Oregon or Seattle at the time. Jeff Seeley was running it. They were early on this whole thing. And then if I recall, they were bought by ING.
Yeah, it helped us build our portfolio in many, many ways. We have a quite diverse portfolio, but I flew to meet you. So I was very excited to have the opportunity to be here. But again, I think this gives validity to the fact that you don't have to make $1 million a year to be a millionaire. You can do it, and on very humble salaries. It is possible, and my husband and I can attest to that.
I'm gonna give you another high five. Good for you. Thank you for sharing that. What a treat this is. All right. Well, thank you so much. So I'm only gonna go. I got 2 more websites to go through. And it's only 1 slide. It's Robo-advisor. Some of you, surprisingly, most of you didn't raise your hands on what a Robo-advisor is, which in a way the Robo-advisor name started like 2 years ago. Somebody said it in the media or 3 years ago, and then we all started calling these new firms Robo-advisors, which is a little silly because it doesn't really mean anything. But really, what they are is they're automatic investment companies. What has changed with technology? So Share Builder, as an example, a decade ago, what they did was make it so you could buy 1 share and you could automatically invest in 1 share and you could grow it and you could reinvest. What you can do today is you can automatically invest a couple dollars now and literally have a completely diversified portfolio of exchange-traded mutual funds, automatically built, automatically rebalanced, all done for you for like very low cost. This is the same technology that all the big firms have used. So, you know, the Morgan Stanleys and the Goldman Sachs and the Merrill Lynches and all the big banks, basically what financial advisors have done for years, now the new technology companies are now doing very similarly for a much lower cost. The difference is they're not meeting with you face to face. Now, that is a difference. So the two biggest players in the space are Wealthfront and Betterment. So you should go to both of these websites and check them out. Last time I checked with Betterment, I think they had $6.5 billion. They're probably higher now. Wealthfront's probably at like, I don't even know, last time I heard, I think they're at $3 billion. These firms, by the way, they make a big deal about how much they manage. In the grand scheme of things, well, that sounds like a lot. You have mutual funds that have $50 billion in one fund. You have mutual funds with $100 billion. Like, these are new companies and they're small. Now, what's happened because but these are the two biggest players. So there's 100 robo-advisors out here. If you're going to go work with robo-advisors, I'd look at these two first because these are the two biggest players. I even talk about this on Automatic Millionaire. I list all the new robo-advisors and I say in here, most of these robo-advisors are either going to go out of business or they're going to be bought by a financial service company. I don't know if that will happen with these two, but it's already happening. All these robo-advisors, all the smaller technology companies, they're being bought up by the banks, insurance companies, and brokerage firms because they need the technology. This is all good for us because what's basically happening is that all the major companies now, and I'll go through this a little bit later, but I'll talk about 4 major firms: Fidelity, Vanguard, Schwab, TD. Those are the 4 big financial service companies out there. They all now offer a robo-advisory service. So I wanted to give you guys these 2 firms to look at. Go and check them out. They have incredible simplified interfaces, similar to like what Acorns does. They do it on their website. Here's the real key to these portfolios, however. This is the part where I get nervous about technology. What makes me nervous about technology for you is that when you go through these questionnaires without somebody there with you, you're going to go through these questionnaires and they're going to ask you questions about your risk tolerance. And on average, they're going to go through 7 to 10 questions. In some cases, they've now got it down to 5. And they're going to take the way you clicked on those boxes, and they're going to come back with a portfolio. And the problem is you don't really know what boxes, meaning like you don't know enough to know necessarily when you click through these boxes and the portfolio comes back, is that portfolio really right for you? And so and this is the problem with not working with a financial advisor. Like I'm just being totally, like the part that gets me scared is that, you know, when you're starting off small, it's not a big deal. But once you start putting 100 or 200 or 300, you have a $500,000 account, it pretty much matters a lot how much risk you're putting into these portfolios. I had a friend of mine just come to me and he wanted to put in $3 million and he said, you know, I want to use, and in this case it was actually Schwab. Schwab's got an amazing robo-advisor platform. They call it Intelligent Portfolios. All this is in the book, but they've got a great interface, super diversified, super low cost. So I said, here's what we're going to do. My buddy's name is Andrew. I'm going to go through this with you. You go through and tell me which boxes you're going to click off. I won't tell you what to click. Okay, so you go through. So we're on the computer together. He's clicking through. Portfolio comes back. Super aggressive portfolio. Now, he says, well, how does that look? I go, it's, in my opinion, as a financial advisor, and knowing you your whole life, you don't need to take that much risk. We need to dial this portfolio back. So I'm like, we got to go back into the questionnaire, and you need to click on this button, and you need to click on this button, so we can see what that comes back at. So it spits back. It's still too aggressive. I'm like, refresh, click, click. So I worked with him as his buddy and his financial advisor like 5 times through those questionnaires to get a portfolio to a point where I'm like, that one works for you. That one's a lot less risk. That one's going to have a lot less volatility. That's perfect for you based on everything you just told me. So that's important just to know. I can feel people breathing like, oh, I thought I could just go click, 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 and I'm good. but you got to go into the stuff with your eyes wide open. Really important thing to say too about this class. I didn't do the big disclaimer in the front of the class. I am not making individual specific financial recommendations for any of you at home either. This class is for educational purposes. When you go to these websites, you got to read everything. You got to do all your own due diligence. If you need to talk to an accountant, personal financial advisor, educational purposes. You are not leaving here today with a personal, individual financial recommendation. Are we cool with that? Absolutely. Okay. Except, pay yourself first. All right, awesome.